Hi everyone! Since the release of Pluralmind a few months ago, we've really been listening to all of your feedback, and I'm excited today to announce the release of Pluralmind version 2, which adds a bunch of your most requested features. Things like being able to proxy at the end of a message rather than at the beginning, and being able to use emotes and emojis in your proxies. If this is the first you're hearing of Pluralmind, Pluralmind is a plugin for Twitch that allows Plural folks to indicate which of their headmates is sending a message. And if you're not familiar with the concept of plurality in general, I highly recommend you go and check out More Than One. I'll leave a link to that down below. So with that, let's get into the new features of Pluralmind version 2. Alright, and here we are on the Pluralmind website. You'll see I already have 2 members in here. If this is your first time setting up Pluralmind, we actually do have a video that walks you through everything you'll need to know to set it up from scratch. I'll leave a link to that down below. But at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and use some of these new features with my existing members. So if we go into Leah, we can see that I have one proxy in here, and it's just the ability to do L:space and then type my message. And then Pluralmind will know that I am sending a message as Leah. So let's go ahead and add a new proxy in here. The first thing you'll see is on the right, we have this new prefix button. So I can toggle through this and change it to suffix, either, and back to prefix. Every time you click on this, it toggles. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to suffix, and then I'm just going to go ahead and type -L. So if I type a message and then type -L at the end, Pluralmind will look for that suffix and know that I'm also sending a message as Leah in that situation. Now I can go ahead and add another, and let's just say I want to have one that works on either side, and I can actually go ahead and do a little moon emoji. And now if I type a moon emoji at the beginning or end of my message, Pluralmind will know I'm sending a message as Leah. And then just to show the full versatility of what you can do with proxies now, I can make a really complex proxy like, let's say, a moon emote, and then we'll do like my dance emote, and then an exclamation point just for funsies. One thing you'll notice is that I haven't used any colons around this emote. So if you do want to use a Twitch or a Franker Faces or BTTV emote, make sure to leave the colons off. And if you're ever in doubt, there's a little trick you can do. You can actually go to Twitch, send your message exactly as you want your proxy to be, and then just copy and paste that message right into Pluralmind, and it'll paste in exactly the right formatting so that Pluralmind will always pick it up. So with that said, let me go ahead and save Leah now, and we'll see that we have our 4 proxies, and you'll also see that the proxies are colored based on whether it's a prefix, a suffix, or either. So if you have a bunch of members and you want to just see at a glance like, hey, did I set this up right? You can look at those colors to make sure that everything's set up the way you want. Now let's go into Samara. And Samara I have set up with case sensitivity. So in order for me to send a message as Samara right now, I would have to send it specifically capital S, a colon, a space, and then my message. Let's go ahead and add a prefix for her. So I can do -S. And again, since I have case sensitivity on, this will also look for that capital S since that's what I've typed here. But the other thing we're going to do is turn off require a space. So in the older version of Pluralmind, since we only allowed prefixes, you always had to type a colon and then a space and then your message. But with the new version, you can turn off require a space and then you don't need to use colons anymore, unless you type one, of course, and you don't need to type spaces anymore. So by turning this off, I can type S: and immediately type my message, and it'll recognize that, and I can also just type my message and type -S. And I'll show you an example of that in a second. So let's go ahead and save, and then head over to Twitch. Now, one other thing to keep in mind is if you've already been on Twitch, you may need to wait a few minutes before Pluralmind will actually pick up your changes. But if you want, you can always like turn the browser extension off and back on, or like close your browser and reopen it, and it should pick up the changes immediately. That's really helpful if you want to test out and make sure that your proxies are working correctly. So let's try these out. I'll start with my normal proxy that I was using before, so I can send a message as Leah and say hi, and we can see that worked correctly. Now I can try sending a message with a suffix, and we can see that worked too. Let's try our little moon emoji, and you'll remember we set that up where I could send it at the beginning, or I could send it at the end, and both of those are working correctly. And then we can try our really complex proxy. So we can do our moon, and then the dance emote, and then the exclamation point, and say, hi, this was a complex proxy, and we can see that gets picked up as well. Now we can try Samara. So we turned off requiring a space, so I can actually just do hi, and we can see that gets picked up, and I can also do hi-hi-s, and that gets picked up as well. I left require a space on for Leah, so if I tried to do hi and not do a space, it's not going to detect that, but I could always go back into Pluralmind and turn off require a space. And yeah, that's how to use some of the new features in Pluralmind version 2. If you already have the Pluralmind browser extension, it actually should have updated automatically, so you should be good to use these changes right away. You can always go into your browser settings and make sure that you're on version 2 of the extension if you want to double check. And if you're a streamer and you've already added Pluralmind to OBS, that also updates automatically, so the next time you open OBS, you should already be good to go. And on that note, we've also made it even easier to add Pluralmind to a bunch of things with this update. We've updated our Streamlabs integration to be a lot simpler. It's now a lot less copying and pasting, and if you've already added Streamlabs in the past, I highly recommend switching to the new integration so you get the latest features. And we also have a brand new Python library. So if you have a Python script that you'd like to use Pluralmind with, you can check that out. And if you have a Twitch.io bot, we have a Twitch.io integration as well, which is basically just drop in and Twitch.io becomes Plural friendly. If you are a streamer and you'd like to add Pluralmind to OBS, or if you'd like to see what your options are for Pluralmind compatible chat widgets, I'll have some links down below that you can check out. But yeah, thank you all so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye!